Good evening, everyone. So the main agenda of today's session is to make sure you're able to build a simple chatbot with a user interface. It's not something like it'll run in your idle or anything. We'll develop an interface, because in the last session we have built a stopwatch with an interface. In today's session, we'll make use of our Python knowledge to make sure how Python is used in each and every field. So in today's session, you'll gain some knowledge how Python is used for web development also. That's where this FLASK comes into picture. Flask. If you can see, can anyone tell me what is an API from your knowledge? If you have anything, what do you mean by API? Any answers? API. Application Programming Interface. What do you mean by API? Any guess? Let's make it interactive. Endpoints to fetch JSON data. API is a value for some URLs. Okay, right. So these are some protocols. Yeah, you said it from the PPT, right? That's fine. That's fine. Okay. So to make sure pretty understandable, you can see over there, it is a set of protocols where you take response from client and your server will retrieve the answer so that you'll get a response from it. Something like you'll use your Facebook and all the login pages, right? Where you register and you sign up. Then when you go for registration, you have username and password, right? When you give the correct credentials, you log in. Yes? So that's how this Facebook, Twitter, and all the things, they use APIs to crawl data from server to the client so that they can send some information. So that's what we have done in the previous session by using Twitter, where we extracted the data from URL. Yes? So basically, APIs or frameworks, those are collections of some protocols to send information from client to server. Client to server, they add as a bridge. Something like you can choose that as a burger. So the top end will be your front end, and the below bread will be your server, and the middle layers will be your frameworks or APIs. Yes, obviously they are used to send. So I think if you're having any background knowledge in some other programming languages where Java is used to have the Spring and Hibernate framework. Yes, so in Java we have the Spring and Hibernate. For Python we use Flask. That's where Flask comes into picture. I think, can you see my slide, right? Yes, so that's where, so if we take about, so Flask is something like it's a micro web framework or a lightweight framework. So that's our session title, building chatbot using Flask. Because when you go for real deployment, the difference between Flask and Django is you use Django for macro. Flask is for micro. I think you know the meaning of micro and macro, right? Micro is small and macro is large. Where if you want to build a websites using where you have database or anything, then you can go for Django. If we are having some lightweight applications, today we are going to build a user interface for our chatbot also, where we'll build with the help of Flask. Yes, so let's go into the picture where we'll be having these four methods, these four operations, which are very, very important. Those are called CRUD operations, CRUD, CRUD, where we can also call it as get, post, put, delete. Yes, so these four operations, which include C stands for creating or post, R stands for reading or get, U stands for updating or put, D stands for deleting. So in a layman terms, I can say when you fill your registration form, you get the sign-up details, right? You ask your first name and last name. For password, they ask these credentials. Some caps lock should be there and small letter should be there. So that's where they give out the regular expressions. And when those match, the things will be considered. So whenever you create an account, from the next time, you directly use your username and password. If the password doesn't match, it will prompt an error. Then where do we use these operations and how APIs are used? Because when you log in, you have your home page and all the things, right? So you click on home page, you read the content and you go to another profile page. The connection from home page to profile page doesn't need to be in a programming language, because if your site is full of content, they use APIs. So there, these CRUD operations in any programming language, Java, Python. If it's used for Python, we use Flask and Django. Flask is a micro framework, Django is a macro framework. So these CRUD operations, that can be any programming language. If you talk about Ruby, we have Ruby on Rails. If you talk about Java, we have Spring and Hibernate. where that will be linked to big data again. For Python, we have Flask and Django. See, when we click on URL, you'll navigate to another URL. I can show you a simple example. Let's go to browser. See, suppose if you click amazon.in. So now this is down, yes, we'll go for, this is your home page, right, amazon.in. When you click on bestsellers, you see the URL is having some other extensions. This is nothing but routing. That's what the APIs does. So let's gonna prove it, how we can build our simple APIs and how we can build our own chatbot. Yes, so make sure you're having this Python software, any kind, PyCharm or Jupyter or anything. I'll be using simple idle. First, we'll build an API. You need to have just Python software, that's it. So how we are going to use this session in the sense, we'll be building a simple API and I'll tell you why we are going to use chatbot. Because you have the chatbot, you see Alexa, these are speech assistants, Alexa, Siri, OK, Google. These are all speech assistants. What do? They minimize your work, right? They do minimize your work. If you want to set a timing, if you want an alarm, they do the things. When you speak, that text will be recorded into audio and that will be converted to again text format. Speech to text and text to again speech. It will speak out. So today we are going to build a chatbot where we'll train our custom data. We'll give a question, it will answer us. So that's how this chatbot is a self-learning chatbot. That's the reason chatbots are different and intelligent assistants are different. Chatbots are pre-trained one, where we give out some content, it will train. Then the next step is it will learn with the help of conventional dialog box. The package which we are going to use is ChatterBot. So let's build a simple API. So for that purpose, you just open your command prompt. I think you can see my screen, right? Command prompt. Yes. So you just go for pip install Flask. As I have already installed, you just install it. Pip install Flask. Because Flask is a micro web framework where we'll be retrieving response from client to the server and server will give you the response. Client will request to the server and server will give you the response. Yes, you can install in Conda environment or anything, you can go for it. Pip is not found in the sense you are not having path set. Make sure you set your path to Python, or you just, if you're having Anaconda, you just open Anaconda prompt and you can do it. It may take some time. If it is done, then you can check it out. If you are getting pip is not recognized, then make sure you have set your path. Or the better way is, instead of setting the path, you reinstall the Python. You go to your control panel, right click on Python, just reinstall it. See, chatbot is something like you give out your question, the pre-trained data will give you the answer. Chatbot, the only simple thing is, we humans learn, chatbots are pre-programmed devices. Then if you want to train a chatbot, it should learn from experience. That's where machine learning comes into picture. It should learn from the previous data. Even our chatbot will learn from the previous data. That's why we are going to create a custom chatbot. So you can check it out. Fail to create process, you just reinstall Python. You open Python. You can open terminal here itself. You import Flask. It goes to the next line. See, dialog box and chatbot is different. So dialog box is something like where we use packages. Chatbot is a predefined where we train the data. Yes, if it is done, so what I'll do is you just create a Python file. So you can see why I'm talking about editor, why I'm not using editor is we need to be very good at simple things. Why we cannot use our operating system do the things for us with the help of Notepad. Pip stands for Python install packages. Pip stands for Python install packages. Yeah, you can use PyCharm. The only difference is you can write your code in PyCharm and run. I'll be doing it in a text file. I'll convert that thing into a Python file. You should know that why we cannot use our just Python instead of Python idle or any other software. Why can't we use our Notepad? I create a shortcut. First, we'll create a Python file. So for that, hope you remember these directories, right? How to create a directory, DOS commands. I want to make sure, because a person from any background know these DOS commands. So I create a directory name bot. Yes, then go to that directory cd. Cd stands for bot because I want to run directly from my command prompt because we'll be building a UI based interface where we'll be building a HTML page for your chatbot. So for that purpose, I want to make sure we just use our command prompt because even some members may be having different kind of softwares. I want to go in parallel way so that every people can do. So that's the reason you just create a directory named bot, mkdir, make directory bot. So you change your directory to bot. So here we create a Python file. Probably you may feel a bit surprised with this because I create a sample Python file here, notepad sample.py. Yes, you are getting a warning, right? You create a file here itself. That's how you can directly create your Python file. Yes, is a simple Python file created where we write content? Simple Python file. Yeah, you can do it in idle, but what I want to do is I want to make a directory. So I want to build each and every file from the directory. So that is the reason I'm making it clear. Yes, so let's go for it. Make a directory mkdir bot. So change that to directory. In that you create a Python file. So I import Flask. From Flask, you import Flask. Yes, that's the reason I'm using DOS commands. So anyone can understand instead of a GUI based person, or because some people may be using Mac, some people may be using Ubuntu. So I want to do it in the command wise itself. So then I create application name app is equal to Flask double underscore name double underscore. I think you can see the screen, right? Yes. App is equal to Flask double underscore name double underscore. See, you need to create a directory, make a directory or create a folder. In that folder, we are writing all these things. So why I'm writing double underscore name? Because we are creating an application which contains the object which is called as application app, so that it will understand. Yes, you can call that as constructor or anything, because every Python file, whenever you execute a Python file, your Python virtual machine will create in the format of a variable, because you may run that as a module or you may run that as a package. What is the difference between module and package? Your Python file itself is a module. When you group all the modules into a folder, that becomes a package. That is the reason anyone can develop Python packages, because it's an open source platform. So if my name is equal to main, I'm executing this as a Python file. So I create my routing @app.root, so that it should root. That means we used to run all our Python files in a shell, right? You execute in your IDE and you see the output in your interactive mode. But today I'm going to show you, when you run your Python files, you will see your output in the browser, because you are going to build an API with the help of Flask. That's why it creates a local URL with the help of 127.0.0.1:5000. We'll copy that URL and we'll paste in the browser. That's where we create routings. Then I define a simple function. My simple function name is index. I want to see, you just give 4 spaces. You just give 4 spaces. What you want to return? I want to return hello everyone. This is my message. This is what I want to go see. I want to see in my browser. This is my thing. So I should call it, right? So I give a condition. If yes, you are right. Flask is a web framework. That's what I'm telling from the beginning. If name is equal to main, that means you should execute you are going to execute this Python file. You are not going to run as a module. So if condition, so make sure you give same quotations, not single quote. If you start with single quote, end with single quote. If you start with double quote, end with double quote. Then you give out the spaces, 4 spaces. Then you run the application. App.run Why do you give debug is equal to true or false? Because true is a boolean where our application should run. So this is a simple Flask program where you are building an API. That means once you run the program, make sure you give the indentation and for if condition and the functions, make sure you give out 4 spaces. Main, because I'm going to run this file, I'm going to run this file as a just Python file. I'm not going to use as a module. So your Python way interpreter understands whether you're creating a module or a file only with the help of main. Because I gave main, that means it understands that as a Python program. If I import math, that is a module, this main will be replaced with math. So we have given true here because we are into production. Because we are in something like development, we go for this thing. If we are going into production, we give debug is equal to false. App.root slash, that means I'm giving out whenever I run the program, I get a dummy URL. At the end, I'll have slash. I have shown you an example, Amazon.in. We have home page and all the pages. If you go to payment page, the URL extends. So this is nothing but routing. Yes, you save it and you execute it. So we'll run the program. For running the program, Python, because Python sample.py. See, that's it. That is how you get the thing. This is a development server because we are only giving out. Can you see the screen? You can run the Python files directly. Python file name. Then it is showing serving Flask app, lazy loading. This, it gives a warning. This is a development server. Do not use it in production. See, for production, we give debug equal to false, where we go for Django. Yes. So syntax errors means you make sure you give 4 spaces. If is a reserved keyword, if space. So I'll copy this URL 127. Because debugger pin is for security. This is different for me and that is different for you. But this URL is same for everyone. Control C. You can come out of Control C. I'll copy this URL. I go into web browser. You can see, and I copy paste it. And if you run, can you see it out the output? Hello everyone. You get the output as hello everyone, because that's a public URL. That is only for development. You can see it is not for production. That's the reason I said you should use for command prompt, because we are using local host. See, Amazon.in is a domain name, right? Someone purchased Amazon.in, so they are hosting all those content. Facebook.com. Yes. So I'm gonna show again the notepad file. Don't get confused. You can see it. You just import the Flask. You run the file. You should run the program, Python space. The only better way to run the applications is go to command prompt. If you use Spider, that is an editor mode, it will not generate. You can create a virtual environment or anything. Yes. Hope you got this thing right. So that's how we print. This is how we give out the content in browser, where for everyone you get the same URL. You can get the same URL 127.0. You can see the request, HTTP request. You run the file. You are missing how to run the file. If space name is equal to main. If is a reserved keyword. If you want to come out of it, just press Ctrl C. You can come out of the server. This is something like your local server. Use a production server instead. If you are building any web applications, you can go to server, because we are deploying our local host. We are deploying in our local host in your system. For everyone, Flask assigns the same URL, because we are doing it in our systems. But this debugger pin is different for me and for you. That's where the things work out. So now what we are going to do is we are going to use the same file. We'll use it to build our chatbot, because chatbot is something like where it trains from the pre-programmed data. You have these Facebook chatbots and Hike chatbots. In Hike you have Natasha. These are all chatbots, right? Where we train from pre-trained content. First we'll give our queries, it will learn, and when the next time user asks, it will self-learn, because chatbot is different and self-learning chatbot is different. If you go for Natasha and everything, if you go for Natasha or Facebook chatbots, they are trained with pre-trained questions. If it is asked what is your name, you should tell your name, and again you should not ask what is your name in the written. That's where machine learning comes into picture, learning from experience. So we'll do some changes in the same file where we'll create a simple HTML file. So for that, you create another directory where you store your HTML files, because I'm going to create a chatbot where you can see in the browser with some dialog boxes where you can enter your query, it will get the response from it. Yes, so for that you just create a directory in the same folder, in the bot folder, because if the location is different, you'll get again some file not found errors. We'll create a directory called as templates, because templates is for HTML files. Django is a macro web framework where you'll be having, you can store images or all kind of data. Flask is a lightweight framework where we'll be giving all the content, something like this simple login pages and the way we have built in the previous session, the TK enter web forms and all the things. Now I have created a directory called as templates. Now I'll go to templates folder, cd templates. Yes, from Flask, import Flask. Now let's create a simple text file which is of HTML format. So I rename it index.html. See, in this previous program we have just generated hello everyone in the web page. Now I want to add a HTML file also towards it. So I create HTML file. Yes, the name is created. You need not do anything, you just close it. Now you open your sample Python file. No need of the version, it just updates with the updated version. That's the reason I gave notepad index.html. You have the capabilities for your own operating system. It can build any kind of files. If you want to run Java files, if you can create notepad some sample.java, but it will not execute if you don't have any Java software. I'm having Python software, I can create Python files. Now what we are going to do is we'll add two more things to it, where we'll use render underscore template to send context to the HTML file. What do you mean by context? The content, what we are writing, that should be stored in that HTML file. That's how the front end things are related. That is the reason Python is backend scripting programming language. Same import Flask, comma, render underscore template, you give request to request the data. What you're going to do is you just change this thing. Instead of hello everyone, what do? I change it to render underscore template. And what is your file name? Index.html. When you run, you get this index.html. We did not import render underscore template. So what you're going to do is, once you created render underscore template, comma, because you're importing multiple packages, right? Render underscore template request. So your application should run whatever the content is present in index.html. So what should I do? I should write some content in it. I'll write hello everyone, good evening. So this is my content. You write some content in the index file so that your program understands that it should read the content out of it. If you do not write anything, you don't get any output. Your program will run, but you don't get any output. That's the reason I'm asking you to write some content in index.html so that your render underscore template will retrieve the content from this page. Yes? Low. So we'll save the file. Now we'll execute it. Python sample.py, that is my file name. I need to come out of the directory because it is present in bot folder. Python sample.py. Your program will run and you can same copy, or you can open the previous URL and you can run. See, I got hello everyone, good evening. I got the content which is present in index.html. Did you execute it? You can also see. I'll go to my desktop and I'll show you. You can go to the desktop and you can see the bot folder, and you can see in templates, you have an index.html. See, you can see the content, whatever the content we gave, that is being displayed. So this is how we have used index.html. Templates, you rename it as templates. I hope everyone got it, because with the help of render template, we are retrieving the content from index.html. Now we are going to use the same thing, and we'll create our chatbot, where we use the package called as ChatterBot. You need to install it. So just come out of this. Hope everyone is doing. Yes. So go for pip install chatbot. Pip install. I'll tell you the version. Don't do it directly, because ChatterBot is the Python package, which is a conversational dialogue engine, where it will take the content whatever you have. CD templates or mkdir templates. In that templates, you create an index file, write some content, and you give render template index.html. Pip install ChatterBot. I'm using 1.1. The version is 1.0.1. ChatterBot is a Python package where we'll be having the corpus of different languages. We'll be using our custom YML file. YAML is different, YML is different, XML is different. So we'll be creating our custom YML files, which can use for any programming languages, Python or Java or any kind of programming languages. You install it, pip install ChatterBot. Pip install ChatterBot equal to 1.0.1. Pip install ChatterBot equal to 1.0.1. Pip stands for Python install packages. As I'm already having, it says requirement fully satisfied. Yes, so that is our package. If installation is done, then we'll go to our Python file and we'll start writing our code. If ChatterBot is installed, you use from ChatterBot, you import chatbot, because ChatterBot is a machine learning conventional dialogue engine. So from ChatterBot, you import chatbot, then you take the corpus. What do you mean by corpus generally? So what do you have in dictionary? Words and meanings, right? Which includes words and meanings. Similarly, if you want to train the content to your machine, it will take the process of natural language processing, where you have the corpus, where you have parts of speech and all the things. We human beings learn from our parents, or when we go to school, that is learning. If a machine needs to learn, it should learn from the root, where it will having corpus. So here in ChatterBot also we have the trained corpus. I import ChatterBot corpus trainer. Make sure you give it in caps. ChatterBot corpus trainer. C capital, B capital, C capital, T capital. You just import the packages. I'll show you what are the custom files present in ChatterBot package. So partial install. Corpus is nothing but it's a collection of all the content. So let's go to your file location. I'll show you what are the things present in your ChatterBot corpus. Index, it is INDEX. You just go to your file location of Anaconda. You can see the Anaconda 3 folder. If you're using Anaconda, you have library, you have this site packages. In site packages, you can see the ChatterBot. See, you have ChatterBot corpus. In data, see, we can train in all these languages. So for that, we are using ChatterBot. Yes, can you see that? What are the languages present? If you can type the English content, our chatbot can read the English content also. Hindi. If you know Chinese, you can also give Chinese content. So this is the predefinedly available corpus. we'll create our own corpus. That's what we're going to do today in this session. Yes? Am I clear? Why we are using chatbot corpus trainer? What we are using chatbot? Yep. Don't worry. First, we have created a directory named templates. In that templates, we gave a HTML file and we'll be writing some HTML code towards it. See, I'm using, with the help of Python, Spaces NLTK package. We are not going into NLTK. We are just using our Python package where it is a self-learning chatbot where you'll be training your custom data. So is the package is done? Then same. The changes I'm going to do is I'll add English bot because I'll be taking English corpus. First, we'll write the lines, we'll write the package, then we'll create our own custom data. Yes, we are using normal command prompt. We don't have any other command prompts, right? So English bot is equal to chatbot of, you take ChatterBot because it will store some data, because ChatterBot predefinedly have SQL Alchemy database, because we'll take that content and Flask will support it. So Flask stores whatever the context we give in that SQL Alchemy database. So ChatterBot storage adapter is equal to whatever you're comfortable, you can use in command prompt. That can be Anaconda prompt or your normal command prompt, because every student or any professional who is attending the session may not have Anaconda and may not have any awareness about Anaconda. So that is the reason we are making user to understand with a simple way, because every person having laptop will use command prompt. So we are trying to dig from the command prompt itself and we need to know what are the things. So English bot is equal, this is my variable name, chatbot we are taken from ChatterBot, which creates a chatbot and it needs to train the corpus from ChatterBot corpus trainer. So chatbot of ChatterBot in string format, and the data should be stored in chatterbot.storage.sql storage adapter for storing your data, because it is predefined available in Flask. But your ChatterBot will relate the context here to Flask. Chatbot of ChatterBot comma storage underscore adapter. English bot is, this is my variable because I'll be creating a corpus. Chatbot of, this is the object created in chatbot. ChatterBot is your username. Storage adapter is for creating the database. English bot, this variable is for creating the chat box to have a database. We'll create our context or conservations. It will learn, and next time when some persons gives, it will answer. This is because this is a conversational dialog box. ChatterBot has different languages. We'll train with, it will create. We did not create anything, right? We are going to create it. Wherever, that's the reason I asked to create a folder. If you are getting any PyYML or any errors, ignore that because that's a bug in ChatterBot. Don't do it. So in bot dot, so that's in bot folder. See, you have created a bot folder, right? In this bot folder, you'll be having a database creating. I'll show you. Once we run the file, we'll have database creating. Yes. So the next line is I'll train my data. So trainer is equal to, with the help of ChatterBot corpus trainer. Ignore PyYML issues, no issues with that because that doesn't change anything to your file. Trainer is equal to, take the ChatterBot corpus trainer English underscore bot. So whatever the variable you given in the previous line, take that thing in this corpus. Now I'm comfortable with English language, so I'll take the English corpus from the ChatterBot. Yes, so we'll try to take the English corpus with the help of trainer.train. Give it in string format, chatterbot.corpus.english, ENGLISH, because it will be trained with, I have shown already the corpus, right? You can check that, we can check where your ChatterBot is installed. You can check in the site packages, you have all the data. English language, Hebrew, Chinese, Telugu, Hindi, all the languages. Now, This is for the custom data. Now I want to create my own file. English, don't run it. Don't execute it directly. Now we'll run, because the first thing is I'm creating a ChatterBot object with the help of chatbot file. Storage adapter is for creating the database file. Then you train with corpus trainer. Then you take the corpus is English corpus. Now let's go to command prompt. Go to the command prompt and create your own custom YML files. So make sure you are in the bot directory. Don't come out of the bot directory because you may face some issues. mkdir for creating the directories within the bot folder data. Yes. So next go to data folder, because you are creating a custom YML file. Custom YML file is for giving out the conversations. Then create a YML file with the help of notepad space data.yml. Press enter. Yes, I want to create it. Did you create this file? Make a directory in the bot folder so that you can see a data folder is created in your bot folder itself. We run everything through bot folder. Yes, is it done? So now you have a data.yml. Just make sure you train it. Trainer.train off. Give your folder data slash, what is your file name? Make sure you get the correct file names. Data.yml. See, we have created data.yml. Now we'll write the content or conversations into the YML file. Yes, you just add trainer.train data slash data.yml. Now we'll write our conversations, because YML format requires some specific kind of format. It's not like text pad or anything. Okay, it will take nearly more 40 minutes, 40 to 45 minutes to see our chatbot. First, we'll build our HTML file, and if time permits, we'll also add the CSS styling to it. I'll show you how we can add HTML and CSS. So in this single session, you are going to build your Flask application. You are going to learn some HTML content and CSS. You can see your chatbot in the web page. Our main intention is to make you understand. Shall we write the content into the YML file? We'll go for it. Data.yml. Make sure you're in the bot folder. Right. Just see the syntax how I'm writing. First, create a categories section, because this is not simple like storage adapter is for database. When we execute, you'll understand. Categories space conversations, because conversations are from both the end, from user and the bot, from myself and to the bot. So I'll give out question and answers, conversations. So start the conversations. You write as it is, because YML files require specific content. For writing HTML tags, you have the content. So first create categories colon, and next line you give out hyphen space, your dash mark. Hyphen is different, subtraction symbol is different. So give out hyphen space conversations, and next line conversations. Then you start your conversations. Hyphen space hyphen space. That's what you need to follow, because YML files require specific kind of format to read the context into your corpus. Because if you see the previous corpus, they'll be in the same format. And give out your own queries. I give out my question as good evening. This is my question, and my bot will answer as. You can train your bot. You can give out your queries, because this is first. Even you need not see, when you're a kid, you cannot talk, right? Your mother will say how to speak. That is the same process for chatbot. You give your question, it will train the answer. Simple. So my answer is good evening. Make sure you give correct spaces. Hyphen space hyphen good evening, and the next line hyphen, then come out of it. For our user queries, you give 2 spaces, hyphen space hyphen space. So then I'll tell hello. I want to give hello to it. Then it should answer. You follow the same syntax how I am writing. Hyphen. It should reply, hey, how are you? It should ask this question. Then hyphen space hyphen. Hyphen space hyphen space. You need to follow this syntax because we are writing the content in the YML format in ChatterBot Corpus, so that you should have the same format. Then I'm fine but feeling bored, because so many are feeling bored in this quarantine time. Let our chatbot do the response for us. You can enter hyphen, make sure you're giving the same spaces. Oh, this is your chatbot. You give out your own response. What you want me to do? This is the question from chatbot. Then come out hyphen space hyphen hyphen space hyphen space. You give your question. I want to see a movie. You can train your own queries, no issues with that. Then space hyphen. Make sure you are aligned in the same spaces. Okay. Shall I give your similar to Alexa? Alexa is trained in the same way with the corpus, but it learns day by day. Same does our chatbot. That is the reason we gave self-learning chatbot. Okay, shall I give your favorite movie list? Then you take input from user. Just last one more query. Space. Yes. You give out. I'm a fan of Avengers, so Avengers playlist. Space. See, hyphen space hyphen. 2 hyphens are for user. 1 hyphen is for your chatbot. Okay, done. Enjoy the movie. This is your chatbot response. Save it. Now we'll run our application. You can also give multiple answers for bot inputs, because if I tell hello, it should tell hi, how are you, whatever the meaning. Similarly, Google works out. Google recognition engine works. If you give today spelling wrong, it will tell you, did you mean today, in red color, right? The same thing works out. Let's go for our sample.py. Then we'll create app.root. I define already you have index.html. Then I need to get the bot response, right? So this is for to send context to HTML file. So we'll write our content in HTML file. Yes. So this is your Python file. 1 space. User input is 2 spaces. Bot input is a 2 single space. When you run the file, it will train the corpus and a database file is created. Then you create another application. Before creating, let's go for another application, app.root. You give a response called as getResponse. This will be fetched from the URL, right? Because we'll be fetching the data from the URL. So app.root get, because this root is for getting the content from index file, and this root is to get the bot response, because when we write a question, we'll click enter or send, then the bot should respond by training the data from corpus, which is your data.yml file. We are making changes in the first file itself. Don't worry about that thing. I define another function, define get underscore bot underscore response, so that your bot should give the response. Then make sure it is a function, right? You give out 4 spaces or tab. Don't make mistake over there. This is the user text which user is entering, and it should take the request. Request dot, what is the arguments user is giving. We'll write a HTML code also, but before that, Let me finish this Python code. So this thing is to get data from input as we write our script to HTML file, where we write simple JavaScript. You need not worry about the HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Even I'm into data science, but even I'm not aware of those things. But I know the content relevant to HTML and CSS. Even you can know the content. So this is for get data from input, where we write our script, JavaScript, JS to index.html. You can make that as comment. So in below we have same, if name is equal to main, don't worry about that thing. Then what it should return? It should return string in the format of response from the bot, because you ask a question, bot should think and should answer, right? I gave good evening, your bot should give good evening. It should not give hey mad fellow, because it is been trained with good evening. User text is to get message. See, request.arguments.get of message. We'll be writing a HTML code also, because we'll be displaying a web page with some user interface. Don't worry about that thing. You'll understand this thing in HTML code. Get user response from user text. Close the braces. Yes, your Python program is ready. Don't execute it because we are not yet finished. We'll go for index.html. Go to your templates folder, open your index file with notepad so that you can write your program here. You just erase the previous thing. If you are aware of HTML tags, then that is fine. If you are not, then no issues. I'll make you understand, because HTML tags always starts with the type of document is doc type. I think you can see the screen, right? If you are aware of the HTML tags, you would write the tags. We create opening tag and the closing tag. Opening and closing. So we write in between this, the header tags, the table tags and all the things. Then the next tag is head tag, and I close the head tag also. Always for closing the head tag, you give out your slash. But I'll write some content in between them. Your doc type is HTML and you give out your head tag, because you need to get some heading, right? My heading should be displayed as hello chatbot. So for that purpose, I give out all the titles. Then I create a body, because the content should be present in the body. You can also close the body tag. Hope you are following. We'll also write before the body, we'll give some script, because you should have the button, right? What the button should respond, you should take the response. Whenever you click enter or any key, your input should be prompted to the screen. I'll write, we are about to write everything. If you're aware of the HTML tag, then that is well and good, because we'll be making understand for a layman also. I'll not close the script tag. I'll give out my source is equal to, I'll give out URL, HTTPS, that is a jQuery response, so that whatever the button you gave, it should respond. HTTPS ajax.ajax/ajax/libraries/jQuery/ you need not install anything, you just follow the query what I'm writing. After the script, I will be writing here all the things. Don't worry about that thing. If you're aware of the HTML tags, that is well and good. jQuery.min.js, which stands for JavaScript file. Then close the script tag. For closing, you always give slash, the forward slash which you give. This line is for the response from the user, the jQuery response, because we create a button so that user will, when a user enters some commands, he'll understand that it should be printed out. Yes. So after the head tag, is the script tag clear? This tag is for source, ajax.googleapis.com, ajax libraries. It should take the response according to the script. Then you write the body tag body. Then you give out whenever you create any tags, you can end it, but before that we'll add our content. That is a general thing in HTML. But before ending the tag, I'll write my content where I give out headings, all the effects. That's where a UI developer does. So what is my first heading? I give out my heading as Flask. You can write whatever you want. Flask chatbot. That's what I'm going to write in the heading. So close the head tag. My heading should be Flask chatbot. I hope you are following. Next heading should be, I'll be giving divisions. The divisions are nothing but where you divide your tags into each lines. That's where I go for division /div class, because different classes are present. Then you give out IDs, because for different ID you build some different sessions. Something like if you click a home page, you have the scroll icons and all the things. But for that you go for CSS stylings or bootstrap. This is simple HTML tag we are building. So in the division tags, you add whatever the IDs we are going to create. I create my first ID because these IDs play a very key role for getting information on the web page. If you don't do it correctly, your web page will not display. Yes, so division ID is equal to chat box. Then what is the content I'm going to give? With the help of paragraphs. And what is the class you're going to give? Bot text. Don't worry about the HTML codes. We are giving out the just simple thing. Span is for the length of the content you should get. So my first heading should be Flask chatbot. Then what is the first response you are expecting from chatbot? You can give it over here in span. See, OK Google will have a microphone at the end, and it will have whatever OK Google is the first span in your OK Google. For Siri, you are having different things. It will give some suggestions. For this, I'm going to create, hi, I'm your chatbot. I'm your ChatterBot, or whatever name you can give. You can give that thing. You can place your whatever context you want to give. You can give the context over there. And we end this thing. We end the span. If you are lagging in the thing, we'll send us materials. Don't worry about that thing. Then close the division. Close the div tag. This is for the ID of chat box, whatever the chat box you want to apply. Then we create an ID for user input, where user should enter the input, right? So user input, then close these brackets indicate whatever the content you are writing. That's the reason you use brackets, Sublime Text, and other softwares for writing this HTML. Even you can use your notepad. That's the reason I'm asking you to use in notepad itself. Then you give out user input. Input of ID is equal to text input. What is the input you are giving? The text input, the user response, and what I'm giving? Type. What is the type? I'm giving text. Name is the message, because that's what I gave in the Python code. It should get the response. I have closed here. You can see in the span. I have closed the paragraph tag. Then another input ID. Input ID is equal to button. The button input where user need to send. Click send, right? So for that, every tag should be present. Type is equal to, what is the button called as? Submit button, right? Where you click the response. And what is the value it should give? The send response. This is the tag you are giving out. Then close the division tag. You have opened a division tag, then close the division tag for user input ID. Yes? Then we give out the JavaScript over here. So is this clear till here? We are giving the heading as Flask chatbot. Then we are giving the next message as hi, I'm your ChatterBot. Then the next thing is for giving out the dialog boxes. message and user input. Pip install chatterbot equal to 1.0.1. That's how you install chatbot, which I told in the beginning. Then you write your functions. The function is you need to get bot response. Make sure you give the same names which you have given in the Python file. This is your JavaScript, because in JavaScript you give out this effects in the format of dollars, because dollar takes input in the format for JavaScript. I define my, you can see the changes in the output. You can go as usual, you try to change when according to my code. So my raw text is I define with the help of dollars. I'm giving two division tags because one is for chat box, that where you have hi, I'm your chatterbot, and the next one is for whatever the message you type, that should take the text input, and at this side you have the button, right? For that button you gave submit button, submit value. So then you're giving the JavaScript. With the JavaScript you're giving the text input, taking the text input from user. Make sure you are giving the same things, because you may get the errors while you're running the code. We may require more 20 minutes. See, you have defined the input tag, right? This tag, for the tag response, you're giving the script. For the button input, we'll give the next button response. So the variable for raw text is that thing. Then for user HTML, we define the paragraph as class is equal to, it should take from user text. Make sure you give it in quotations. This thing we are giving so that you can observe your output in the browser with the interface. Don't worry about the HTML tags. Make sure you give this thing in quotations, because that's the user HTML. Plus you concatenate the string, because plus is for string concatenation. Even you see the same thing in Python. That's anywhere, that can be any programming language. You end this tag. You open the span tag, you end the span tag, you open the paragraph tag, semicolon. You close this tag. Yes? You have opened the quotation here. Yes, once I write, I'll share it. Don't worry. Let me complete it. Get underscore bot response, will be writing it below. Dollar is for taking the script. You take the script again in the format of user text HTML, that is text input. Take the values, dot values. Dollar symbol is only for getting the response in the format of script, because this is the front end. So you append. Why do you use append mode? You try to append the append. You try to use Python. You use append in Python list to add the content at the end. So whatever the user is adding, that should be added one by one, because you see the response from bot, right? Whatever you type, you can see in WhatsApp chat, right? Whatever you type, that will be placed above. You get your friend response. You again type, that will be in the below. For that thing, I'm appending. Then you go for document dot get element by take by IDs. First take user input. I'll share the HTML code, don't worry. You take the user input. Scroll button, scroll into view. You create the blocks here, same in the format of dictionary. It should start and it should end. Behavior, because you should have the smooth response. Yes, I may be having some typo errors. I'll be rectifying it. Just a minute. So behavior is smooth. Block should start and scroll into view. And yes, element by ID, small letter. Next. Then you again get the response dot Behavior is for smooth response. See, you have your WhatsApp chat, you have very sleeky response. That is the element in JavaScript where you can have the smooth response. DOM, that is the DOM element in JavaScript. That is the reason we use for script. /get, and you give out the message MSG, because I can develop a simple thing in a console, but that is not our intention. You should understand what we are doing. Just close the brace and get that response from user, and when the function is done, take the content from which folder? Data folder, which is having data.yml. Get data from the backend, because if you don't name the function over there, how could you understand? Yes, so that is the reason I named the folder as data, and you take the response from the bot. Bot HTML is equal to paragraph tag, and what is your class? Class is equal to bot text, and give out the tag, and when you give span, you can give out. Then you go for concatenation, data plus, you take it from the span, you close the span, and you close the paragraph brace. Because you should have the high as ChatterBot. So for every span, we have the raw text, because it should take the text over there. And you end with semicolon. Semicolon is, that's where we use, that may not be mandatory, but that is the syntax for the scripting languages, where we use for HTML tags and the script. And before plus data plus, because you need to take the content from the data.yml file, right? So we are concatenating both of them. And because you use plus symbol for addition, right? The same symbol is used in programming languages for concatenation. So take the response from chat box. Hope every quotation is paragraph is matching. Don't worry about that thing. Dollar is for the script as chatbox dot append. What you should append to the bot HTML. We are creating the variables, and it should take the content from it. Then come out of it. Then we create another document for user input. This is for user input, and this is for, we get same document dot get element ID. You give out user input. One thing is for you give out the text input, and you type enter, and you wait for the bot, and in the meanwhile you type the input, right? So for that thing, I am giving user input again, user input, and you scroll into view. Yeah, I may be having some typo errors, but I'll be rectifying at the end, because I'll be seeing your chat and I'll be typing, I'll be doing some multitasking, right? So human brain sometimes will check once. Once I finish, I'll check every brace. So block start, and the behavior is smooth. Behavior smooth. Then close the curly braces, close the parentheses, and yes, get element by the script. If you are aware of the script, no issues. $get to get the response from the data, because we are taking the response, because data is our content, and our server should respond, right? So for that reason, we are giving $. Dollar is for getting the response, and at the end, if you reach at the end, then you close all the braces which we have defined at the beginning. Then you give out text input. This final thing is for, see, this thing we have closed it. Then finally you close this curly braces which we have opened at the starting for getting the function bot response. Then the final thing, you have the dialog box, and you should have the functionality where you give text input hashtag, because hashtag is for taking the ID to the user, so that it should understand. That is a predefined format in the JavaScript. If anyone is aware of the scripting things, then what we should give the key, I am trying to give enter key as my functionality. So you may give some other keys according to ASCII values. And because in chatbot, you have, see in WhatsApp chat or any chat, you have automatic sending messages, right? You type the text and you press enter, or automatically when the message is done, it will press enter. So this key press function, E stands for event. What is my event here? If E is matching, I'm trying to give here enter. For enter, I remember my ASCII format or ASCII value is 13. You can search in the web, or if you want to press anything, if you want to press A, give the ASCII value of capital A, which is, I guess, 97. And if you ask for capital A, it is 65, and for small a is 97. I'm giving 13. 13 is the ASCII value for enter. You can check in the URL. Now I am trying to get bot response. So bot response, when you type something, you press enter, right? Then close this functionality. Then you close the functionalities and press enter. So this is how you press enter. But the final thing is your bot should respond again. To take this reason, press enter button. So for that, I give out button input. So text input is that text input, and button input is for send button, right? You should also give the click functionality, right? So click, we are purely giving only HTML code. We are not adding any style towards it. First let's get this HTML code. You don't run anything now. We'll wait for get bot response. You close it and you close the parenthesis, and finally you close all the tags. I hope I have already given body tag. What should I give you then? I should give script tag and the divisions. I've already given body tag. I'll close the divisions. This is my, once it is done, I'll send all the HTML files, get bot response. I'll copy the entire thing and I'll paste it in the chat box. You can check it out. Yes, so let's go for it. Let's save the entire thing. We have given the response, and the final thing is you can close the tags that is not present in the code which I have sent. You can add this. That's the entire script which we have written. You can copy paste it in the index tag. Then let's check it out. Let's check it out. If you are having any things, we'll sort out them. I'll save and I'll run. Now let's go for, you come out of this cd ... Python. What is your file name? I think my file name is sample.py, because we gave here message tag and user text input to take out the text from the user. You have saved the index HTML file. Then go for your command prompt. Yes, shall we execute it? Python sample.py. Let's gonna run it. It may take some time. Let's wait for it. First thing is we are using some simple HTML tag. You should install the ChatterBot module. See, you can see the NLTK is installing. See what are the previously trained corpus which are present. So if you are getting anything related to PyTZ, you go for pip install PyTZ, that is for time zone. See, you can see your data is being trained here. Can you see that? Training the conversations and everything is trained. Yes. Now we are getting this URL. Let's go for the URL. See, your data is trained. Let's go for the URL, which is already being opened. We'll refresh it. See, you have got your chatbot. Hi, I'm ChatterBot is your first file, because we have given only HTML tags. You need to install pip install chatbot. What I gave good evening. Your bot gave you response. Then I'll give hello. You try to give whatever you have trained. I have trained hello. Let's check whether it is giving. See, it is giving hello. For hello, it is giving you hi. Pip install ChatterBot is your error. Make sure you solve it. Then let's give I'm fine, but feeling bored. See, it is asking you, oh, what you want me to do. Then I'll ask it to I want to see a movie. Did anyone do it? I want to see a movie. See, it is giving a response. Okay, shall I give your favorite movie list? Then what I have given, yes, Avengers playlist. Avengers playlist. Okay, done. Enjoy the movie. That is how your chatbot is. If you are getting any error related to PyTZ, just copy paste. Just you go for pip install chat PyTZ. So now I'm giving the entire code for your index.html. You can copy and paste it if you are having any issues. Did anyone get the chatbot? That is your entire HTML code. This is how your chatbot looks with individual pages.